Hey there, it's the CaliGriot. I have a commentary for you today. Oh yeah, I'm heated to the boiling point and above. You ask why? Because white supremacy has no color. Black people can participate in the system of white supremacy. Asian people can participate in the system of white supremacy. When I see a judge tell the defendant that they get 24 months for murder, I said murder. I don't care if it's accidental murder, trying to tell us that you don't know the difference between a taser and a gun. How about you don't know the difference between being a police officer and blood sacrifice? How about that? Trigger warning, everybody. Trigger warning. I got some things to say. As a grandmother and a mom, I'm so sick and tired of watching these lightweight sentences. They would give 24 months to one of our kids for shoplifting. You heard? 24 months. Time served, what? 50 days? Now, I've seen all these different immigrants come here and just hallelujah about how wonderful America's treating them. Oh yeah, they treat you real good. So you can come here and do what you just did. Disrespect like you just did to Daunte Wright's father and mother and us. He is part of us. That's our babies. I'm so sick and tired of watching January 6 people get off with parking tickets. Why do our kids run? You know why. You set it up. Read the Star Spangled Banner, 3rd stanza. What's it tell you? That we're going to be running and fearing the gloom of the grave. But we're supposed to stand there and just let you kill us? You got the game twisted. Real twisted. And I hope these young people don't react like us old people did. Without courage. I hope you young folks got the courage and the will to put justice in its proper place, because voting doesn't work. And if somebody voted this woman in as a judge, make sure you vote her out again. And this is again in Minnesota. Oh, thank you for your service of being a police officer, risking your life. When she right behind in another murder that she didn't get in trouble for? She was part of a cover-up? See, we know. And we know you don't give yours and like-minded ones like you the type of time you give our babies. Please. I'm so tired of these Mzungu tears. Mzungu tears from Kim Potter and Mzungu tears from this judge. Now I'm going to go on and play it. But I'm so mad, I can't hardly stand myself. I was doing something completely else. You know I got it.
Officer Potter's conduct was not significantly more serious than that typically involved in the commission of the crime in question, justifying an upward departure. Turning to defendant's request for a dispositional departure, there is no question that Ms. Potter is extremely remorseful.
Aww.
She showed that today. She showed that when...
Regretful she got caught.
It is also beyond dispute that she is particularly amenable to probation. But the court retains the discretion to make departure decisions independently. The court is not required to depart even where mitigating factors are present, and that's set forth in State v. Birch, 689 Northwest 2nd, 276, affirmed by the Supreme Court, 707 Northwest 2nd, 660. This has been an extremely difficult decision. In making my decision, I look to the purposes of incarceration. There are 4: retribution, incapacitation, deterrence, and rehabilitation. 3 of the 4 would not be served in this case. Incapacitation refers to the physical removal of a convicted person to prevent them from committing future crimes. That is not an issue in this case. Kimberly Potter does not present a danger of future crimes, obviously. Deterrence refers to the prevention of future crime and the idea that those who have committed crimes
letting this
will be
woman
discouraged
off
from reoffending
with a
after
slap of the
experiencing
hand.
punishment.
Slapping her
That
hand.
purpose would not
And
be
don't want to
served.
slap her hand.
Rehabilitation is also not a purpose that would justify
Now this is off of
incarceration in this case.
the Black
Ms. Potter
News
does not
Channel.
require rehabilitation to become a law-abiding citizen. Retribution, or serving time as a way for a convicted person to pay for the harm inflicted on a victim, is the sole purpose that applies in this case. And in this case, a young man was killed because Officer Potter was reckless. There rightfully should be some accountability. Sentencing guidelines are just that. They are guidelines that inform a judge regarding sentencing for various crimes. They are not set in stone. The court has the discretion to depart from guidelines depending on the particular facts.
Oh, Mazungu tears.
A downward durational departure is justified if a crime is less onerous than typical. Put another way, if the conduct is significantly less serious than that typically involved in the commission of the crime, sentencing below the guidelines is justified.
Oh, you do think so, huh, Judge?
I find
We
the
don't.
facts and circumstances here justify
We don't.
a downward departure from the guidelines.
A
First,
life for a life.
Officer Potter's conduct was significantly less serious than your typical manslaughter case. The misdemeanor predicate for the manslaughter count was reckless handling or use of a firearm. Here,
And she lied
everybody
about that.
agrees, and the evidence is undisputed that Officer Potter never intended to use her firearm.
Oh, who said so? Just like Amber Geiger?
She drew her firearm at all times, intending to use her taser.
What a lie. Are you going to be the defense
There were
attorney?
Police officers and experts who testified
She a
that the
defense
use of the
attorney for
taser
this
was
woman.
reasonable and appropriate under the circumstances presented for officer safety reasons. The fact she never intended to draw her firearm makes this case less serious than other cases.
Boy, lady, you got your
Second,
nerve.
The scene was chaotic, tense, and rapidly evolving. Officer Potter was required to make a
Just be
split-second
her
judgment.
defense attorney.
That constitutes a mitigating circumstance. Finally, unlike other manslaughter 1 cases, Officer Potter's actions were not driven by personal animosity toward Dante Wright.
You don't know that.
Instead, she was acting in the line of duty and effectuating a lawful arrest.
Oh, wow.
This case is highly unusual.
That's how you interpreted that, huh?
The other officer cases tried in this court are distinguishable. This is not a cop found guilty of murder for using his need to pin down a person for 9.5 minutes as he gasped for air. This is not a cop found guilty of manslaughter for intentionally drawing his firearm and shooting across his partner and killing an unarmed woman who approached his squad. This is a cop who made a tragic mistake. She drew her firearm thinking it was a taser.
God.
And ended up killing.
Can these people make any more petty-ass excuses for these people's behavior?
Potter, will you please rise?
Petty-ass excuses. Would never let us come with some type of shit like this.
Considerations, and having carefully considered the comments of the family and of both Dante Wright.
It don't matter to you, though.
The comments of Kimberly Potter, as well as the arguments of counsel. It is the sentence and judgment of this court that you shall be committed to the custody of the Commissioner of Corrections for a period of 24 months. You shall serve 2/3 of that time, or 16 months in prison, and 1/3 on supervised release, assuming no disciplinary offenses or conditional release violations. You have credit for 58 days already served. Restitution will be reserved. There'll be a fine of $1,000 and a surcharge of $70.
Listen to this.
To be taken out of prison wages or due within 180 days. You must provide a DNA sample.
Just sickening.
You may not use or possess any firearms, ammunition, or explosives. You have the right to appeal the conviction and sentence. If you are unable to pay the cost of an appeal, you may apply for leave to appeal at state expense by contacting the state public defender. You may be seated, Ms. Potter. I'd like to make a few parting comments. I recognize there will be those who disagree with the sentence.
Yeah, I bet you do recognize and don't give a damn.
Significant downward departure does not in any way diminish Dante Wright's life.
No, you did.
His life mattered.
But not to you. But not to you.
And to those who disagree and feel a longer prison sentence is appropriate, as difficult as it may be,
It's not difficult, lady.
please try to empathize with Ms. Potter's
You don't empathize
situation.
with us. You don't empathize with Dante's mom. You don't empathize with his
President
dad. How
Barack
dare you
Obama
spit
once
in our
said,
face?
Learning to stand in somebody else's shoes,
Here she go.
to see through their eyes, that's how peace begins. And it's up to you to make that happen. Empathy is a quality of character that can change the world. Officer Kimberly Potter was trying to do the right thing.
Got the nerve to still call her an
Of all the
officer.
jobs in public service, police officers have the most
Ex-officer
difficult
woman.
one. They must make snap decisions under
You already
tense,
said that. You already said that.
ever-changing
And we don't care.
circumstances.
If she can't do her job, she shouldn't have
They
did it.
risk their lives every single day in public service.
Psh,
Officer Potter
how
made a
dare you,
mistake
woman?
that ended tragically.
Ugh!
She never intended to hurt anyone.
How do you know?
Her conduct cries out for a sentence significantly below the guidelines.
Here they go with them tears again. But you never cry for black people. You never, never, never cry for us. I'm through with it. I'm through with it.